and then we can show the map while I load up the replay, and then we can swap straight on over into the game. So as you can see, SouL's Scan is going to be the Terran player, NaS's SuGo is going to be the Protoss player, and their arena is going to be Chupung-Ryeong. Now, so far there's not actually been a PBT here that I've recorded, so this should be quite cool to see how this actually plays out in the STPL in one of my tournaments with a mix of foreign and Korean players. Should be a lot of fun to find out. And let's actually quickly load up this replay. I just got to load up the folder, and then we can get straight into the game. Okay, so as you can see, this is a 1v1 map. And let's see who's going to start us off as we move into the game. Okay, so starting us off is actually going to be SuGo, the blue Protoss, and he is in the 7 o'clock position. He is going to have a very hard fight to go for here. Scan the best Terran on SouL's team. Of course, possibly he's not the best Korean Terran. He has been beaten before in foreign tournaments, not very often. But he does show signs of weakness sometimes, and he has been practicing a lot of 2v2, and that is the purple Terran playing for SouL in the 2 o'clock position. It is Scan. Let's actually just quickly update the overlay just so it's got the correct names on and everything like that. We do have Scan in the 2, SuGo in the 7, and it's, as I said before, purple versus blue. Okay, so what is going to be the game plan from Scan? Of course, Scan is the stronger player. SuGo is definitely the underdog coming into this series, but there's a lot of places this can go. There's a lot of different cheeses the Protoss players can do. Looks like we're going to have a very, very quick gateway from SuGo, actually on 10 supply. So he wants to make sure he gets the Zealot over there as soon as possible. This is going to be a little bit harder to build a anti-Zealot wall, just based on the fact that there's not really much room in the main. You do have these pods at the back. You can see that here as well, where you can build a lot of the units producing structures. But that's quite far away from the ramp, so a little bit more difficult to play against Zealots. Looks like we're going to actually have an 11-12 from Scan. Very standard TVP opening. Likely going to see a factory expand, possibly even an FD from him. He's not going to go for the strong FD, even though he probably can afford to go for it. Scan is probably going to feel pretty confident coming into this game. Scan has, I believe, played SuGo before. He must have done at some point. Looks like the probe is actually going to scout really quickly just to make sure he can see what's going on, trying to do as much damage as he can to this SCV. Second SCV being pulled, and this is one of the things that I know Artosis has complained about before when he's been casting. Like, people say that SCVs are Gundams and they shouldn't have so much health. But when you're trying to build buildings and SCVs are getting attacked, it is the most stressful thing in the entire game. Like, if you're a low-level Terran, that's almost impossible to deal with. It's horrible. And that's why SCVs need 60 health. Stop complaining. It looks like Scan is just going to scout everything. Is this going to be one gate range, or is it going to be sort of one gate expand? Are we going to see a proxy? The good thing is Scan is going to try and do what he can to just be annoying, mess up the probe. Probe cloning. Looks like we do have a probe over here though, and that could be for a very, very sneaky proxy. One other benefit that SuGo does have is 100% Scan's weakest matchup is his TVP. He set out on stream himself, and if SuGo is going to beat him, this is a good map to do it on. Now it looks like we do have the pylon coming up over here. This is going to allow him to go for either proxy DTs or proxy robo. Just based on the location, because you can actually proxy up here, I'm going to imagine it's going to be for a Citadel. You can actually build the robo a lot closer to the Terran base if you want to. Range, of course, on the way as well. Now, what is SuGo going to be going for? He's sending another probe. That's kind of interesting. Looks like we actually do have the proxy Citadel. I called it right. Imagine that. I can't believe that, but I got it right. I'm feeling pretty good about that right now. We do have the factory with the add-on coming up for Scan. Looks like he's actually going to go for Wait, he's actually stopped on 3 Marines, so I get the feeling he's actually going to go for siege mode first. He's out in the command center. He's added his 3rd depot as well, just making sure he doesn't get supply blocked. And interestingly, we actually see a double proxy from SuGo, but here we go. Is he going to be able to stop the SUV from getting in the base? This is so important. This is an important block. He gets it, but no Nexus up at 4 minutes could show Scan that there is something up. SuGo did a really good job of blocking the SCV there. If the SCV got in the base, this would have been game over immediately. But here we go. Templar Archives is on the way. It is going to be... Update the map. Did I forget to pick the... My bad. No, it should be right. Wait. I'm very, very confused. Okay, well, as far as I'm aware, it's working. But here we go. Templar Archives nearly done. Some Dragoons moving out on the map. Looks like Scan is going to try and expand. Now, does he have an engineering bay on the way? Yes, he does. It's just finished. Very important for Terran players to actually do that. If you can't scout the Protoss opponent, or you aren't quite sure what they're doing, do everything you can to build that engineering bay as quickly as possible. And this is why the other pylon was there. This is actually going to be proxy 2 gate with the 3rd gate in the main. Templar Archives has finished. First DTs are on the way, but Scan is ready. Scan sniffed something out. He knows something fishy is going on, and he is building that all-important turret at the main, even building a depot to help wall off this back base here. It wouldn't surprise me to actually see the barracks lifted off and moved over just to make sure. But with Dragoons on the way, DTs as well. How is SuGo going to make this work? It's going to be a very difficult, a very difficult thing for him to do, but it is still possible to pull off. If he can use the Dragoons to actually snipe out the turret, this could do a lot of damage. And DTs, like they take a long time to die. Like, against tank shots, fair enough, they do die pretty quickly. Second factory is on the way. Of course, siege mode is done. Does he have mines yet? Yes, he does. This is going to make the DTs even harder to use. And SuGo is on a ticking clock right now, and I think he's actually given up on the idea of being aggressive. He's going to take a Nexus. His Nexus is going to be a little bit further behind. It looks like he's added on another gateway or something somewhere. That's interesting. What? I guess he had another round of units, fair enough. We should see the Nexus coming up very shortly though. It looks like some Vultures are actually going to scout these gateways. Scan is going to know exactly what's going on now. He knows he just has to play safe, and he will be incredibly far ahead now. Oh, here we go. Looks like he's going to try and snipe the turret. Can he get it? He's spending all of his Dragoon shots on it. Can he get the turret? Repair! Can he repair in time? There's not enough Dragoon shots here. The DTs are not going to get into the base. I always feel like this was a mistaken GG. SuGo taken out